Hi guys, welcome to my knitting podcast where I talk to you about all of the crafts that I've been working on for the last week. Sometimes it's crochet, sometimes it's knitting. I tried to get into machine knitting for a little bit. Just a week well, not a week, it seems like a week. Everything's gone by so fast lately. But about a month ago, I pulled out my machine knitting to get onto it again, and then I got sidetracked by a whole lot of other stuff. So I'll be doing that again soon, but I really need to kind of give it some time right now. This week I have 3 works in progress. I actually cast on something last night, and that's really odd for me because I'm not done with my mom's sweater yet. And generally, I only have one big project going at a time. But I wanted to get this cast on because I know I'm going to be finishing up her sweater, her cardigan, very quickly here. And what I cast on involves short rows, so I wanted to get the short rows done. So the part where I have to pay attention is all done and situated, and now all I have to do is knit for like so many inches. Anyways, I'm glad that you're here. Welcome to new subscribers, old subscribers, and anywhere you fall on that spectrum. I'm glad that you're here. My name is Mandy. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits. And I am 38 years old, I hope. I can never remember my age. And I live in southeastern Michigan. I have a son and a daughter. They're 13 and 9. And we are a regular family, and albeit pretty boring. We're boring people, but I kind of like that. My favorite thing to do is craft, and I tend to stick to that a lot. I am incompletely paralyzed, and over the last couple of years I've dealt with a lot of health issues that I really would rather not have, but I mean that's what life has given me. So you take what you get. Okay, so the first thing that I'm working on is actually another Musselburgh, because last week after I had gotten out of the hospital, I had 3 Musselburghs finished, and I had some extra yarn from 2 of them, and my daughter had really fallen in love with the colors of 2 of them. So this is about, well, I don't know if it's considered half, but it's half of the yarn that I had to use to make it. So we're just gonna go with that. Now, last night I added in the purple that I'm going to be using. So the hope is that half is going to be this pink and half is going to be purple. But I think I have more purple than I did pink, so the purple is going to be a little longer. It's not going to matter. Not really anyways. My gauge on this Musselburgh is 5.5 stitches per inch. I am holding a fingering weight nylon. I'm holding a fingering weight merino and nylon and mohair silk together. So it gives a really fluffy, nice fabric, which is very soft, and I love it. The yarn is from Blackbird Sycamore Yarns, and this pink color is Bleeding Heart, and the purple is Jamberry. And this has been my knitting, what do I want to call it? My mindless knitting, where I go round and around and around when I'm waiting at the doctor's, which has happened unfortunately quite a bit this week. I had 3 appointments, and I don't recommend 3 appointments. 2 of them, actually, wait, no, I had 4 appointments. I had an MRI, a CAT scan, a neurosurgery appointment, and then an appointment for plastic surgery as a post-op follow-up. So I don't recommend that. It's not very much fun. I am glad next week I don't have any appointments. So you probably won't see this much done on this hat next week, but that's okay. I will get to it when I get to it. And it is March 31st, and it's Sunday, and it's Easter, so if you celebrate, happy Easter. But importantly, it's March 31st, which means tomorrow is April, which means that these hats aren't going to be very useful until next winter, at least not here. So that's either a good thing or a bad thing. I haven't quite decided, because like I said, I do want to be knitting these, having at least one on my needles for the next foreseeable future until I go through quite a bit of my unique skeins of sock yarn. So I did get quite a bit of this finished. A lot more than I was expecting, honestly. But like I said, I really do like working on that pattern. I know I said it. Surely I've said it. But in case I didn't say it, it's the Musselburgh by Isolde Teague. It's a very, very popular hat pattern. So this has been, and I guess will continue to be, my main focus until it's finished. Sorry, my yarn was caught around one of my pins on my bag. Okay. Trying to unwrap this because I have it all bunched up. So generally when I knit a cardigan or a sweater, I will work up until the armholes and then do the arms first. And every time I don't do that, I remember why I do that. So here we are. This week I worked through, we've got one sleeve. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat. He is in the room. He is meowing. He is very upset because he can't get on our bed. He is 18 years old. So he's a very senior cat, and sometimes he has a little bit of trouble hopping up there. But this is the sleeve, and I really do love how the color is turning out. Now, I know if you've watched this before, you know what pattern this is. But in case you're new, this is the Irish Gold by Joji Locatelli. This is knit in fingering weight yarn. And I am working on a size 6 for my mom. Now, yesterday I cast on the second arm and worked this much. I am on decrease number 4. So I have 11 more to go. And pretty much as soon as I was on the 11th decrease, the sleeve was done. Or at least I considered it done, because it was pretty much the length that it needed to be. You can tell that that's a pretty good length. I'm excited for her to have this, and I should be finishing it up this week, at least hopefully. The yarn is fingering weight yarn. It is a merino nylon, and the color is number 1 black. I think that's it. Black, number 1 black. One of those. I always get it mixed up. And the dyer is Blackbird Sycamore Yarns. So this is going to be a good sweater. Cardigan, sorry. And I'm hoping that once I give it to her, I can get a picture of her, or at least her face, like neck down of her wearing it, so I can show how it looks. So this is the most, I guess, exciting thing that I have to talk about, and it's a new cast on. And let me see if I can find a picture here, which isn't going to help much because my my printer is black and white. So here we are. This is what I'm working on, and I'm gonna put an actual like nice picture up here. This is a Thursday special by Alina Nodell, and this is a lace cardigan, and it has a bunch of different sizes. So the size that I'm making first is for my daughter, and I'm casting on a size 10. And I'm really excited about making this one because it's been on my list for a while, which is why I finally just decided to start it. But as you can see, I don't have very much. I got past the short rows. This is the back piece. So I got past the short rows, and now I'm just knitting straight. And I don't know if you can see the color, but it's very pretty. The yarn that I am using is Malabrigo Rios, and let me see if I have a little color. Where is it? No, I don't have the wait, no, here we go. I maybe have the color, we'll see. Magenta. Oh, I should have been able to guess that. I kept thinking in my head that this is magenta, and then I kept going back and forth saying, but isn't magenta like hot pinker? But no, that wouldn't make any sense. So the color for this is magenta from Malabrigo Royos. I do love this, and I actually have magenta in Arroyo as well, and I have a hoodie plant, not a hoodie. It's a sweater, no, a cardigan with a hood, but it's not a hoodie. The Portage, I can't remember if it's called the Portage sweater or just Portage. I will put a picture up here, and I've been wanting to make that forever, and I wound the yarn for it, and I don't know what sidetracked me away from that. But I think it was that the Joji Locatelli make-along started, and I just put it off to the side for then. But that is possibly coming, hopefully, sometime in the future. It seems like I get so excited about making something, and I put it on my list, and then sometimes it just gets lost. Does anybody else ever feel like that? Like there's just not enough time in the world to knit all the things that you want to knit or craft all the things that you want to craft. Sometimes I feel like my eyes are bigger than the amount of crafting time I have. I love how this looks. This yarn is a worsted weight, and yeah, I would consider it very soft. I've used it before in hats, but I'm pretty sure that this is the first garment I've used for it. My daughter loves the color, and I'm planning on, I'm making her this cardigan so that she can wear it with her school uniform, because she's constantly looking for cardigans or single color sweaters to wear over her uniform because she says she gets cold at school. I don't know how much that's going to help for the rest of this year because, like I said, it's pretty much April, but I think that it will still be okay. She's pretty much always saying that she's cold no matter what the temperature. But either way, a size 10 should definitely fit her next year, especially a cardigan. And especially if I air it on the side of like a little bit larger on purpose. So this week I ran across a scarf pattern, and I'm going to put the name of the pattern and the picture up here, and I am completely infatuated. Yeah, that's a good word. I cannot wait to make this scarf, and that sounds so crazy because I don't make scarves. I mean, I love scarves. They're great, but I've just never felt the need to make one. But when I saw this pattern and I saw how pretty the colors were and how it's mosaic and how it would just be a nice, what do I want to say? A nice kind of break from all the garment making and hat making that I do. I thought, wow, this is going to be a very fun scarf to make. So look forward to that scarf coming soon. I've already gotten the pattern. I'm just trying to plan out the details. I know that Jimmy Bean's Wool had kits for this scarf go on their website, so I picked up a kit, but it was back ordered, so it's gonna be a little bit until that shows up, which is kind of a bummer. I really wanted to start it as soon as possible. I finally feel like doing a scarf, so now I don't want to wait. The other thing that I did purchase this week, and it's kind of silly, but I'm really excited about it, is I grabbed an emotional support chicken kit from the Knitting Tree LA, and I've seen these like all over Instagram, all of the cute little chickens, and I really wanted to get one. Now, I definitely have worsted weight scraps somewhere, but if you've been following the podcast for the last couple of weeks, I've been having a really hard time health-wise lately. I just got out of a 2-week hospital stay, and I'm not, I know that I can find worsted weight scraps, but I don't know if I have enough of what I need, and I don't know where they'd be. So I bought the kit. I figured that since I am going to be going back into the hospital for another surgery, that maybe that's something that I can work on there. But it turns out that I'm not going to be able to work on it there, and I'll explain more of that in life. But the kit that I did get was Dolly Parton. And I just thought it was super cute. The chicken is like a bluish white and pink, and it's just gonna be one of those really sweet things that my daughter will probably steal from me almost immediately. I'm trying to think of what else crafting wise happened lately. For at least half of the week when I was home, or half of the week and even some of my appointments, at least half of my appointments, I did not feel like knitting at all. I have been I want to say overly stressed about everything that's going on with like the hospital stay and stuff, that I just knitting and crocheting and thinking and reading and everything has been like way on the back burner. I have not just been myself. In fact, I didn't even get I didn't even start really working on her Irish gold cardigan sleeves until I think Wednesday. Maybe I cast them on Tuesday. That sounds right. But like I said, it was quite a bit into the week. Sometimes that happens. I'm hoping next week is a little bit better. I think it will be. I don't have any appointments, so that's always a good sign. But I'm going to be trying to tie some things up for work because I'm going to be going back to the hospital on the 12th. My main knitting goals, at least for the foreseeable future, are to make the Thursday special for my daughter, and then make one for myself as well. I believe we both have Rios for that sweater. I believe I have the color teal feather and she has magenta. So I'm hoping to be able to get those done so we're kind of matchy, but not really. And I think possibly after that, I'm going to start looking into making that woolen pine colorwork cardigan that I showed that I cannot remember the name of. So I'll put the picture and the pattern name here, but I know that it was from Woolen Pine and it's very, very pretty. I have a bunch of pink skeins, mini skeins, and I'm going to do the whole sweater, the whole cardigan in pink and like an antique white. Is that what I want to say? Just a pink and a whitish color. So that's going to be like a long-term project. Plus it involves steeking, so I'm going to have to look into that. But that is going to be my spring into summer focus. But I'm really excited about it. I've been practicing color work, at least on hats. It'll be fun to see how it works up in an actual like wearable cardigan. But this will be my first time doing steeks, so here's hoping it goes okay. I think that doing an all colorwork sweater in like one color family is going to be an interesting idea. In my head, it sounds like an awesome idea, but I don't know how it will be in practice, so I guess we're gonna see how that works. It could potentially turn out awful, and I might end up taking it out, but I think that it's a good thing to try. At least in my head, it sounds like it will be okay. As long as I have enough color variance between the shades, it should work okay. But I guess we'll see. Other than that, another thing that I do want to make myself, besides the portage sweater that I was just talking about, is I've always wanted to make myself, a flax. And I have the yarn skeined up and ready, and it's a flax, so it's not going to take very long. In fact, this might end up being, the flax might end up being like a hospital project that I bring, because it's such a super simple pattern that I should definitely be able to work on it there. What are you guys planning? Like, do you guys have any big knitting or crocheting or crafting plans in general that you've been just dying to cast on in the upcoming future? Because I'm always looking for ideas of stuff that I want to cast on, but I probably shouldn't. Like the chicken and the scarf and all the other things. I can't wait to get the yarn for that scarf. It's going to be so much fun. I love patterns that take like color change, like self-striping yarn, and kind of play to that. And this pattern is mosaic, and I'm excited to start that one. So as for life stuff, I've read books, and I can't tell you one book I've read this week. Okay, so I lied. I can tell you one book I read. I'm reading Dark Places by, I think, Gillian Flynn. If I'm wrong, I'll put it down below. But that is an interesting book. It's about a girl whose brother gets put in jail for killing her mom and her sisters when she's 7. She somehow manages to escape. And when she gets older, she meets up with this I want to say club of people that don't think that her brother actually killed her family. And it just goes into how the psychiatrist kind of led her into accusing her brother, and how everybody in the 80s was kind of like dealing with satanic panic, and the kid was like wearing all black and listening to heavy metal, and he was an easy out for what happened. And that's pretty much where I am in the book. I still have quite a ways to go, but it's really good. That's pretty much it book-wise. I know I read another one, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was or what it was about. So if that tells you anything about how this week has been, I mean, yeah. I take that back. Last night I sat and I watched Bob's Burgers for like my whole knitting time, because I need something that I don't need to pay attention to. Like I said, I had an MRI and a CAT scan, and the MRI and the CAT scan showed that I have about an 8-inch fluid pocket in my back, in my lower lumbar spine, like on the outside. So my spinal fluid is still leaking. And I stopped by my neurosurgery office because we were there at the hospital for plastic surgery on Friday, and no one was there, but my doctor called me back as we were leaving the hospital, and he said that he's going on basically holiday for a couple of days, and then after he's going to have his clinic call and make an appointment, and they're going to admit me from the clinic into the hospital. And this is how he put it, and this has not helped with like my anxiety at all. He said the only thing he can think of is to go back in and close it again. And all I can, like, in my head think of is that doesn't sound very promising. So that's where I am right now. They called on the neurosurgery clinic later that they called from the neurosurgery clinic later that Friday and scheduled me to go in on April 12th. So that was 2 weeks from that last Friday. I'm not excited to have surgery again. I'm really not. And he told me that I would have to they're going to put in a lumbar drain, which I looked it up. It's basically like a thin tube that drains. I don't understand like how it works at all. But he's told me that they're going to put in a lumbar drain, and I'm going to have to lay 100% flat for a couple of days until it heals. I don't understand, or I mean, how long is a couple of days? Is it like 2 days? Is it 7 days? Is it 2 weeks? I'm going to see, this kind of all caught me off guard. I mean, kind of, but not really. So I should have had better questions to ask, but I didn't. I regret that now. Whenever I go in before they admit me on the 12th, I'm going to be asking things like, well, can you guys like use a graft or something to help close the dura, because that's the layer that's what they're having problems with closing. Maybe they could like use some sort of material to help close it better, because my surgery, I had a previous surgery when I was 10, and it screwed up a lot of my back just because I had a big, like a grapefruit sized tumor. So understandably, there's a lot of issues going on there. So maybe they can like use a graft from somewhere else. I'm sorry. I should have put like a weird trigger warning. I will go back in and like put it down on the screen below, because nobody wants to hear this if they don't want to hear this. Other than that, I hope that you guys are doing awesome. I hope that you've gotten like oodles of crafting done and reading and all sorts of things that you love. I hope that since it's Easter Sunday, if you celebrate Easter, I hope you have an awesome Easter. And if you don't celebrate Easter, I hope you have an awesome Sunday. I am sending out lots of well wishes and good vibes, and thank you guys so much for watching my podcast. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you aren't subscribed, if you could, please hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And if you could hit the thumbs up, that would be great too. I hope to see you guys next week. I won't see you the week after, but keep your fingers crossed for me that the surgery goes okay and everything will be awesome. And I will see you hopefully soon with a finished cardigan for my mom. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.